Well, hello there. It's another day. I'm Jim Harrington.
And I am Bill Knight. Happy, Wednesday now.
Yep,
So,
halfway through
and
the
my
week.
My phone is going crazy while we talk. I'm going to put it on Do Not Disturb or throw it out the window.
Don't you like it happens almost, the timing is impeccable. It's like, all right, they just started the show, call them.
Yeah, it's like, I was just
yes.
thinking about you, and so I thought I'd send you a text and do all this.
Boy, I'll tell you, there was big news out of Tennessee yesterday.
Yeah.
It's amazing. They try to make it sound like it's a loss for the Republicans. Oh, it's terrible. And, CNN and MS Now, they interview Democrats to get their opinion. And you know what they're going to say? Well, anything less than 10 points Trump won by 22 points. So anything less than 10 points is a loss for the No. You see, it was a victory because he's a new candidate, brand new. You guys put millions upon millions of dollars into your loser candidate, and this guy Epps, he did his homework, had a great background, and he won. And it was funny, Bill. They said when they started doing the counting, they always do the cities first. That's the urban vote, and it's always blue. And everyone said, "Oh, it's a blue wave. Look at this! All these blue votes coming in for Bain, I guess her name is, right? Oh, I don't know. This is going to be a tough night." Well, no. Then all of a sudden, the outlying districts, which are solid Republicans, start coming in, and people went out and voted, which is what we asked them to do, right? And it just kept growing. So it was a victory. I guess it's 71% of the votes in. They were comfortable enough to say, no, it's a Republican victory. They keep the seat. So that's a big deal. And
but Democrats are famous for 71% in, 80% in, 90% in. He won by 10%.
Yeah.
They will sit there in. It's amazing how many people vote at 2, 3, or 4 in the morning.
But don't you know that, and it's happened many times, we've seen it on our show, that they will have a tie vote, or the Democrat will be behind when the final tally is in, but they haven't done the mail-in ballots yet. But yet, all of a sudden, the mail-in ballots are a solid blue wave, and the Democrat wins. And nobody talks about the fact that the Democrat won by like 1% or 2%. Oh, no. We don't talk about that, But when the Republican wins by almost 10%, well, that's a loss,
That's why you have to rally in this, vote by mail. In other words, I think when the vote comes in by mail, it may as well go ahead and be tabulated right away into the computer. But what they do is, and they need to be validated.
I agree.
Because what happens, they come in, they were sitting in boxes. We hadn't counted them yet. Okay, so you counted them. Can we go and do an audit? No, that's okay. We checked our math, and we got it right.
Right.
Let me see the ballots. Get the ballots. You lost the box? Hey, we lost the box. I'm sorry.
I don't know why. That happens a lot, doesn't it? Yes.
Yeah. It's we would do this because obviously we want to be very transparent and we're cooperating. We just look. We had a celebratorial bonfire last night, and we used the voting all the ballots.
All the ballots. Yes. Did you I would hate to be an investor in the Democrats' campaign because he just or she just blew a ton of money for nothing. So the Republicans keep that seat. That's good news. Now, the other big story, they had a cabinet meeting. Did you see that yesterday?
Well, there was a lot of things that went on
yesterday.
It was
the third cabinet meeting. Big deal. They all the cabinet members had a chance to speak at the cabinet. And, with Biden, he never had an open cabinet meeting. It was like, I have to go take a nap. Goodbye. Trump does it 3 times, And people are like, it's no big deal. Well, it is a big deal. Yes, it is. And a lot of very important things were said, including what J.D. Vance said. You got to hear this.
Right.
The Democrats are always saying that things have got to be more affordable. It has to be more affordable. Mind you, the Democrats had 4 years, and all they did was jack up prices.
Yeah, they broke it worse.
Yeah. So here's what J.D. Vance said.
I just want to pick up on something you said, Mr. President, because you hit the nail on the head, that it is absurd that Democrats talk about an affordability crisis that they created and the people around this table work every single day to address. You'll hear a lot of statistics today. You hear a lot of statistics in our political conversation. I think the most important statistic for the American people is that under the Biden administration, the average American family lost over $3,000 of household income. And under the first 10 months of this Trump administration, they have gained over $1,000 of household income. What that says very clearly is that we are fixing the problem that Joe Biden and the Democrats created in the last administration. If you look at every affordability crisis that's confronting the American people today, it is traceable directly to a problem caused by Joe Biden and congressional Democrats. Why did homes get so unaffordable? Because we had 20 million illegal aliens in this country taking homes that ought by right to go to American citizens. Why did tax bills get so unaffordable? Because Democrats were raising taxes while congressional Republicans under the president's leadership, we're now cutting taxes. Why did food get so expensive? Because we printed trillions of dollars and threw it into green scams that made our agricultural economy suffer while Americans were paying higher prices for food. On every single one of those issues, Mr. President, I think we've made incredible progress. But it would be preposterous to fix every problem caused over the last 4 years in just 10 months. I think that we've done incredibly good. But what I see over the next year, and you heard Brooke talk about joy and gratitude. What I really think this season represents for me, and I think for the entire administration, is that we have now done incredible work to fix what Joe Biden broke. And I think that next year, in American growth and American prosperity, could be the best year that we've had in the United States of America. It's going to happen because we're all working hard. It's going to happen because we have the greatest country in the world. But I think for congressional Democrats in particular, if they want to talk about affordability, they ought to look in the mirror. We are fixing what they're broken. We're proud to do it. It's the job that we were elected to do. But I think 2026 is going to be the year where this economy really takes off.
I do, too. I really do. Things are going in the right direction, Anyway, the other big story yesterday, Bill, was the auto pen. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, didn't Trump just say that's it? Everything that he's done, null, void, done, kaput, over?
Yep. It's finished. It's a wrap. If you got a pardon or commutation or whatever from Biden, I would
forget about it.
Yes.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Hey.
Forget about it. Hey, Pongo, it's no good. But I got to wonder what liberal appointed judge by Obama or Biden or Clinton will chime in to try to throw a wrench in it.
And they're hoping that happens. You know why?
Why?
Because it will require the Biden administration people to produce discovery, and people will have to go and be witnesses, and they will have to testify under oath, all these people. And if they lie, well, that's going to be bad news. Plus, based upon everything I've seen, listening to all the legal eagles out there, it looks like that if it goes to the Supreme Court, Trump's going to win anyway.
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting to see. There's something else pending in the wind that we haven't talked about. But
I just wanted to, if you don't mind, I wanted to
go ahead.
Some of the people who I think are going to have to worry about this. Anthony Fauci, he got a pardon. He said he didn't want one, didn't need it.
Well, then there should be no problem with him.
No, exactly. Mark Milley, they may bring him back into the military and court-martial him? He'll lose all his bennies and maybe go to jail. The guy did say to the Chinese, hey, look, don't worry about it. If we're getting ready to send a missile your way, I'll let you know in advance. He did say that.
Yeah, he's their early warning detection system.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So a lot of people, I would imagine, are, well, Liz Cheney and all the people on that committee. How about, what was the name of that? Do you remember that girl who testified, who knowingly lied in front of that committee? She'll have to now probably be subpoenaed and testify as to who put her up to doing that. Oof.
Well, yeah, and she'll forget. Something will happen.
Do you remember which one I'm talking about? She was the one who said that Trump at one point was going to jump over the
car,
limousine seat,
the limousine thing,
grab the wheel or something like that, or some ridiculous thing. So,
well, yeah, and there's a lot of problems with that story, but
yep.
We would take a whole show explaining that that didn't happen, couldn't have happened, and the illegitimacy of what she had to say. It was somebody wrote a script. She rehearsed it and read it.
Yeah.
And just about everything that's out there. No, I'll take that back. Not just about everything. Every damn thing that you hear out there. And it is a story that has been scripted. And think about this. If you've ever bought a lottery ticket, you know that there are odds. All right? And there are statistical odds. And what is the likelihood that everybody in the Trump cabinet, Trump victim, no, not necessarily so, but everybody that is Republican on Trump's team or MAGA happens to be corrupt. They're evil, vile, nasty people.
Yeah.
And you got to rid because they are totalitarian. They want to have a one-party system. So we got to get rid of them. So you keep your one-party system.
Right.
Makes sense to me. You're buying a lie here, folks. If you listen to that, I'm not saying buy everything the Republicans say, but definitely when somebody is doing what they're doing and everybody bad, everybody cray-cray on this side of the fence.
No, that's silly. But they want you to believe that. They really do.
Yeah.
And you said everything is scripted. You're right. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Everything has a script. The Seditious Six, that was a script.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, all the memes you see out there, the memes you see them online. All right, these are good diehard Democrat people that just go, oh, I'm going to go to the well. Oh, that looks good. I'm taking that. I'm posting that. Yeah, that looks good. They didn't have any thought to it. They didn't do their research on it. They just took it, lock, stock, and barrel. That, this has got to be the fact because it came from my party. Really? You didn't check the news story on it? Somebody did a news story yesterday. The big narrative now is that Venezuela has nothing to do with drugs. Fentanyl does not come out of Venezuela. Drugs don't traffic through Venezuela. It all comes from Mexico. Venezuela is innocent. Oh, okay. So the cartel and the drug lords and what's happened to Venezuela is all a moot point. It's all about us wanting to steal their oil. That's the narrative now. Well, if you want to go in that narrative and you're putting it all in Mexico, well, there's a damn good reason to keep those borders closed. Why did you open it up? No, you're doing a shell dance. You're playing a little shell game here with the news stories, or your party is. They don't want to admit the truth. They're covering up.
Mark Kelly, I want to play this again because it's worth playing. He thinks that Trump wants him dead. Listen.
President Trump is trying to silence me, threatening to kill me for saying what is true. And he sent his Secretary of Defense after me. And it's not going to work. Here's how we got here. A week and a half ago, Senator Slotkin and I, along with others who also served in the military and the intelligence communities, we released a video with a simple message to service members that they must refuse illegal orders. Nothing was controversial about that. Everyone must follow the law. No one may break the law. This is pretty basic stuff. Seeing that video, here's how any other president would have responded. They would have said 2 words, of course. But that's not how this president responded. We've become so accustomed to Donald Trump's behavior that it is worth emphasizing. The President of the United States said that 2 U.S. senators and 4 members of the House of Representatives should be arrested, hanged, executed for something we said.
You know, Joe Biden's 2 words would have been nap time. But that's just, this guy, you know, either he's the dumbest senator in the Senate or he's just a vicious liar, this guy Kelly. I mean, because he makes it sound like, hey, we just got together, you know, and we decided to remind the soldiers and sailors out there that if there's a law they don't like, you know, they just don't have to follow it, you know. I mean, we had no reason really to put it together. It just seemed like a nice time, holiday season. We'll put this little message out, you know, not season's greetings.
All right.
You know, go ahead.
Well, I mean, you know, he made the point, you know, that you know it's against the law. You know, you gotta refuse illegal orders. What is an illegal order? What constitutes an illegal order? And you know, one thing that you can't have in what you call an illegal order is a political agenda or objective.
Right.
Did he have that written into that policy of what his statement? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely.
So
he is trying to convince you that Trump is telling our soldiers and sailors to do bad things in the name of our country, which is not happening. Case in point, Venezuela. They have been all over this double tap on that first boat they sank. The first time, I guess they disabled it, and the second time when they say, well, there were 2 guys clinging to the side. By the way, they were getting pictures from a drone. They may have just been draped over the side. They may have already been dead for all we know. I don't mean to, you know, but they're trying to create an issue where there isn't one. You know, Pete Hegseth at the conference at the cabinet meeting yesterday said, look, I authorized the first shoot because it was the first boat we took out ever, and I wanted it to come from me. Then I left the room to go do other business because I have a lot of things I have to do. I came back and found out that the admiral had authorized a second missile on the target. And I'm fully in accord with what he did, he said. I totally support him. They said, well, there were 2 people. No, listen, the mission wasn't to disable the boat. The mission wasn't to stop the boat. The mission was to sink, destroy the boat. That was the mission. And
look,
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the Democrats are trying now to say, well, they were fishing boats. And okay.
Yeah, right. Find a reel or a rod on those boats.
Yeah, you got 4 high-speed outboard motors on those boats. No tackle boxes in there. Just, you know, bales of drugs. Now, you know, my thing is, don't say anything about it. Go ahead and capture one of these boats so that everybody can see it. But then the Democrats would say, well, yeah, you know, that they took stuff that they had, and that was a plant. You know what? These boats It's obvious what they are. You have satellite pictures. They see these boats take off. They see them being loaded. So they know what the hell's on the boat. I would sit there and say, go ahead and fire away. Take them out.
I agree.
Because
They would say, though, Bill, if you took one as a prisoner, they would say, well, why can't you do that with all of them?
you can't. Because
I agree, but they would say that. Everything with the left is political. Everything. So, but it's interesting, Bill. I got some audio I'm going to play in a second from John Panetta. It'll make your head spin.
I know
But
what you're
first,
talking about, yeah.
like and share, if you would, our program. Also, it's mail at jimandbill.com.
Wake up on the right side with Right Side Coffee.
Available at rightsideshop.com. Leon, I said John. I apologize. I don't know who John Panetta is. I think he drives a bus in Brooklyn, but Leon Panetta.
I've been on his bus, yeah.
Have you really? Well, that's where I got the name from,
Yeah.
Leon Panetta, former defense secretary under Obama.
Yep.
He came out and said, oh, listen, it's definitely a war crime, what they did. It truly is a war crime. I'll let you hear how he said it. This is Leon, not John, Panetta.
There is no lawyer that I'm aware of who indicates that second strike is not a war crime. These were individuals in the water who were wounded. It is against the law to strike and kill those individuals. They did that. As far as I'm concerned, there is a war crime involved here, and it's for that reason that I think we need to hold people accountable. Secretary of Defense should be somebody who stands by the law, who stands by the requirements that you have to put in place if you're going to responsibly conduct aggressive action against anybody. That's the responsibility of the Secretary of Defense. He ought to be taking that responsibility and not trying to move it to others who are basically following his orders.
So, Mr. Secretary, when you say that people have to be held accountable, what does accountability look like?
Accountability is a court-martial for somebody in the military if they broke the military code of justice in the implementation of these orders. And for the Secretary of Defense, very frankly, it has to be disciplinary action from the President of the United States. The President said he was told that the Secretary had nothing to do with it. Well, that's not turning out to be the case.
These people think you have a short memory. Leon Panetta, he was an operative, always has been for the Democratic Party. And he wants you to believe, he says it with great conviction, that it's a crime that they literally sank the boat. Can you imagine, by the way, World War II, you drop some of your bombs, and then you realize, well, the target's not taken out. Well, then you drop all of your bombs. But we're going to arrest you at the airport because you used the second load of bombs to take out the site. That's idiotic, moronic. But they want you, the American public, to believe it.
Well, we dropped 2 bombs on Japan. Now, you can go back and lament, should we or should we not have? Either way, and that war may have been over, but Japan was not going to surrender. So as far as we knew, that war continued.
Right.
They didn't believe that plane flying over could do anything, and it did. And I think they were stunned afterwards. Okay, so you got these guys on a boat. You don't know if they're alive or not. If they're shell-shocked and they're going to go, well, let's start up the boat. Let's get the motors going, and let's get this haul going. You don't know what their intent is.
Right.
And unless they have – now, if they were – if they were regular guys that were doing something legit, they would have had a radio on that boat and said, hey, we're fishermen down here. We really are. Come down and look at our bait. It's drugs, but we use that to get we drug the fish.
Yes. We make them dopey. Yes.
Yeah, there was no, and maybe I'm reaching on this, but there was no. They didn't wave a flag. They didn't do anything.
Well, what's the other thing too, Bill? They could have warned somebody else that they're being attacked and don't come this way.
Yeah, they could have radioed, "Hey, we're under attack. Don't come this way. Run the drugs the other way." Or can somebody get help to us? Then we would know. And if, let's just say, for the sake of argument, that it was a mistaken hit, how many times in Democratic presidents have there been military actions where innocent people were killed?
Obama. He did it. I think he had more drone strikes than any president. And also Biden. Look what he did. We talked about it yesterday. The wedding party in Afghanistan that he destroyed.
Yeah, but see, Democrats will give a Democrat a pass. But what they're trying to do, before Hegseth got in, they did everything to soil him, malign him, do anything that they can, and they're still doing it. They've done it to Trump. As far as J.D. Vance goes, they kind of liked J.D. Vance until Vance said, wait a minute, Trump ain't the bad guy that you say he is. And he switched over. And now Vance is a bad guy. Anybody that does not support their agenda is evil, foul, and rotten.
Right.
And that's where the bulk of the party is today. And I hate to say it, but they've drank the Kool-Aid.
They don't like Hegseth, right? Mm-hmm. Although he was an officer, a combat vet with 3 tours of duty. I don't think Panetta was. I could be wrong, but I think Panetta was a politician.
Well, let me ask you a question.
And he was the Secretary of War or Defense, as he called it.
All right, let's take 2 people in the news right now. Let's take Hegseth.
Right.
And he's a Republican. And let's take Kelly. He's a Democrat. All right. Now you're out in the battlefield and you're stuck in a foxhole, and you've got to depend on one of these 2 leaders to save your butt and get you out of there.
No question about it. I know which one I would pick.
Who would that be?
Hegseth.
Yeah, okay.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, forget his tattoos, forget that he's had some woes. And look, if you're sitting there going to be judgmental on his character, let's get the book of life out on you, my friend.
What's it?
And let's talk about your indiscretion.
He who has no sin cast the first stone.
Yeah, let's just say we live in the metaverse and all your prayers are intercepted by a computer. And so we know all your sins.
Yeah.
And we know your priest too. So come on. Let's just be honest here. You stop the lying, I'll quit lying about that we know everything about you.
Well, Panetta, right? He was one, if you remember. Do you remember that full page? It was like an ad where all these people signed, like 51 people signed a letter condemning, what was it, the Russia hoax? Or they, let me see how they put it.
Russiagate?
Yeah, it said Panetta was one of the 51 Intel experts who signed a letter claiming that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. This is a guy who was the Secretary of Defense. He was supposed to know, right? Then when it was found out to be a lot of hooey, here's how he explained himself.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about that letter you signed on to from former intelligence officials saying that the laptop and the emails had all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation. Obviously, the New York Post and others saying the Hunter Biden laptop letter was the real disinformation all along. That letter was used in the debate. I haven't asked you this, but do you have regrets about that now looking back, knowing what you know now?
Well, Brett, look, I was extremely concerned about Russian interference and misinformation. And we all know it. Intelligence agencies discovered that Russia had continued to push disinformation across the board. And my concern was to kind of alert the public to be aware that these disinformation efforts, frankly, I haven't seen any evidence from any intelligence agency that that was not the case.
You don't think that it was real?
I think that disinformation is involved here. I think Russian disinformation is part of what we're seeing everywhere. I don't trust the Russians, and that's exactly why I was concerned that the public not trust the Russians either.
I don't want to dwell on this because we have bigger things to talk about and bigger urgency. But obviously Hunter Biden said it was his laptop, and this investigation continues. So you don't have any regrets about doing what you did?
No, I don't have any regrets about not trusting the Russians.
Oh, my gosh. This guy's amazing. You know, he didn't do it just to alert the public. He did it to sell a narrative that the Russians corrupted the election, that, he did it to hurt Trump, to cripple Trump. That's why he did it. So when you hear him talk about, well, it's a war crime sinking that boat, that's BS. The guy's, again, trying to help sink Trump.
You know, I think back and I remember the narrative of the Democrats trying to change the Constitution. It's a living document. You know, it's ever evolving and changing. It's a living document. But what I hear from these Democrats, and we just heard from him, is a playbook of lies. You pick the lie that will suit you best at the time. Now, that playbook of lies is a living document that changes, you know, like the sands of time. It's shifty like a sidewinder snake.
Yeah.
And, you know, that is what everything that they do comes from their playbook of lies. Which one can we tell right now that will best serve us? And that's what they do.
Yeah. So where is this going? Do you think this double tap on that thing has any legs, or is it going to fade out because there's nothing to see here? What do you think?
Well, I think right now, it depends on if they get any traction at all. Mm-hmm. But then the next time something happens that they might be able, they're gonna go with whatever story they can to get the most. It's like playing football. You know, you've got to go 10 yards to get a first down. Well, if this one carries them 2 yards, and then they'll go into the next play.
Yep.
And they're just trying to move their ball forward with whatever line.
That's a good analogy, Bill. I like that. Yeah, it's true. Whatever play works, they'll stay with it.
And that's all they're doing. And it doesn't matter, you know, I mean, even if the play is dirty, you know, the play is a clean play if you get away with it. If you get caught by a ref, oh, we didn't know that happened. We're sorry. And then they go and they continue forward.
Unbelievable.
Because all they get is a slap in the wrist, because they got judges, the line judges in this case, were appointed by someone from their team. Obama, you know, Clinton, Biden. The line ref goes, no. I didn't see it. I don't see what you saw, you know, and they get away with it.
Well, it's one thing is for sure. You know, it's funny when you prepare for a show like this, you look back at stories, and some stories you pulled just like a day or two ago. When you look at them again, they're old news. The news cycle is so fast nowadays that what was top of the headline yesterday can be old news by tonight. Like yesterday, everyone was talking about that election in Tennessee. It's history now, you know?
Well, it is, but it isn't. You know, what? A lot of stories are distractions. That story yesterday was a hopeful embarrassment for the Democrats against the Republicans.
Right.
Because they weren't supposed to win that race. They really weren't. But it was like, I spit in your eye, you know, and they wanted to do that to embarrass the Republicans. It wasn't the most important election for us, but it was important to them that if they would have got it, squeaked through, it would have given them a lot of gravitas and weight to sit there and say, the Republicans are weak. Look at that. They're crumbling. they're still trying to do that, but they're looking for the next story to latch on to that will carry them the next 1 or 2 feet down the path. And that's all they're trying to do. They want to get to the midterms. And I see that there are some truth bombs that are about to drop. I know one's coming up in the summer, and I forget what it was, but it was something that they're working on. Hegseth is working on, that he's promising that they're going to have the information on. I think it was in Gateway. I'll have to look it up, shortly.
Have you noticed they're trying to, I'm talking about mainstream media, which is the left. They're trying to destroy the cabinet. And the cabinet was terrific. When you watched them sitting around the table, it was a love fest. They all felt comfortable with each other. They like each other. But Miranda Devine, who is a staunch conservative, somebody who has been reliable for Trump, came out with a story in the New York Post yesterday about the FBI. Did you hear about that? She came out and she kind of said that Kash Patel is running a rudderless FBI, no direction. They don't know what they're doing. He's in over his head. That's essentially what she said, which caught a lot of people off guard. Dan Bongino came out and said, "This is not true," and he laid out the statistics of how they've had success after success, how they've done more arrests in drug crimes, child trafficking, the whole gamut. But what that says to me is there's somebody in the FBI, somebody who is deep, who has contacts, who apparently is reliable enough for Miranda Devine to believe, who is not working to help the director or President Trump for that matter. He's working to tear the people down, And again, these are probably the same people who ordered the raids on Mar-a-Lago. They thought that was a good idea. There's a substrata in the Justice Department that can't be relied on. The other thing, Bill, is this. I think Trump is giving Pam Bondi and Kash Patel a lot of rope, and I think he's doing it intentionally. He just came out with this thing saying, "I'm voiding all those auto pen." That's done. These people are now fair game, right? So you would think that Pam Bondi would say, a shark in water, blood in the water. Wow, this is a lot of fresh meat we can go after. If she does nothing, I think she'll be gone. And I think Kash Patel will be gone, too.
Well, yeah, but, you say do nothing. It depends on when you do that something. It's all timing. And, I was thinking about it earlier today, and that's what I was alluding to a few minutes ago. Coming up, we got the midterms. So you don't want to sit there and fire all your guns right now and have, give them a chance to make some of those misfires or dilute the story or make them go away. You want them to hit at a time that's precise this summer.
Well, I think, my opinion, I think it's going to be a long process. And I think the discovery and the laying, the putting these people in the dock, so to speak, is going to take a long time. I think after the first of the year, if you start seeing some people being indicted or arrested, it's going to be big news.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, taking the auto pen, and that was a gift from Joe Biden, the auto pen, because now all of these people are going to go, wait, I've lost my cover. They're going to run out in the open. And so then, what target do you go after? Like I was mentioning, Hegseth is talking about an investigation, speaking of Joe Biden, in his Afghan withdrawal, the debacle of that. The report is pretty much being put together about the death of the 13 U.S. troops. It's going to be released in the summer of 2026 before the midterms. And I'm like going, whoa, if you want, and that's what I'm saying, there's a cadre of things that they're doing. Yep, we're working on that. We're going to have that very soon in the summer. this is like waiting for about 5 or 6 blockbuster movies that are all going to come out at the same time.
I think he's going to layer them. I think he's going to he may start after the first of the year and go with something big. There'll be another something big. It will lead right on through the summertime.
Yeah, as they start to tap dance, you hit them with another one. So they go, oh, now we got to dance to that tune too. Wait, there's another tune coming. It's like you're out. I was watching a video on YouTube where a boat was going through, some tsunamis, and they got up to wave 5, and then the big one that was clickbait. Then the video was over. I'm going, damn, I didn't get to see the ship sink.
Yeah.
But it's like riding that wave. You're gonna do it. You're on the Poseidon, and you're waiting to take the big wave. Well, it's the Democrat cruise ship, the Poseidon, and they got a tsunami, a big wave coming.
Like and share our show if you would. Like and share. Tell your friends about us. It's Jim and Bill. It's another day. We're here Monday through Saturday every week. 4 years next week, Bill. I think is it next week? The 16th. So,
I was going to say between the 13th and I was going to say the 13th, but 16th. Yeah, 4 years.
Wow. Holy smokes. And also, if you want to contact us, it's mail@jimandbill.com.
Wake up on the right side with Right Side Coffee.
Available at rightsideshop.com. A NATO senior officer independently vowed that aggressive measures against Russia should be considered, meaning this guy was saying that don't take off the table the possibility of NATO doing like a preemptive strike on Russia. And I was thinking to myself, oh, if I were Trump, I would say if you do that without our authorization, you're doing it without us. We're out of NATO. Consider that our withdrawal from NATO if you do that. That's what I would do if I were Trump.
Now, what would happen if we pulled out of NATO? Because, let's face it, for a nothing cake country back in our beginning, which wasn't that long ago, to now we are the bully of the world. I don't like the word bully, but we're the muscle of the world. The power of the world.
Yeah.
And the one thing NATO has is that, well, we've got the United States. They've got all the hardware. They got the military. They got the know-how. They got the people. They can sit there and fight our wars for us. We pull out of that.
We've done it historically. And these guys, this guy was an Italian, I think he was an Italian general or admiral. He was, don't go away, Admiral Giuseppe Cavo Dragone. The head of the Alliance of Military Committee, whatever that is, he said being more aggressive or being proactive instead of reactive is something that we are thinking about. And I would I would say, Admiral, sit down and be a good boy. Go over to the corner and keep your mouth shut. Because
the sad thing, though, is the war machine is
international.
It's international, and,
yes.
and it's money. It's you talk about who are the oligarchs, the real oligarchs. It's the undertow. It's that undercurrent under the country that have run things for years and years and years, and they make money by, it's almost like a gladiator game of the gods. We're in this ring, and the gods are pitted on both sides, betting on who wins because they make money.
What are we trying to do right now? Right now, as that clown is opening his big fat yap, okay, we have people in Moscow trying to negotiate an end to the war. And the Ukraine had people in Washington over the weekend. So, all this guy is doing is mucking up the water. That's with an M, mucking up the water. Mm-hmm. And, these are the kind of people you got to tell them, sit down and keep, we're doing serious things here. We don't need your input that will maybe mess things up. But They're all out there, Bill. That's what you deal with. And I personally, if I were Trump, I'd say, look at one more remark like that, we're done. NATO is history. Histoire, as they would say. You want to run it without us? See how, who's going to resupply you with F-16s? Good luck. And weaponry. All the stuff that you guys use, we make. So, anyway, Bill, Department of Justice has hit Comey. And apparently, there's another indictment coming right down the road. Do you hear about that?
That's too bad. Yeah, I've heard about it.
They say it may be as soon as this week. Comey was, just seemed like yesterday. He came out and said, oh, see, there's nothing to see here. They dropped my indictment. Everything's cool. And I believe in justice. Well, James, I think Trump probably
Christmas is
said,
coming early.
Yes, hold my coffee. Here's another one. Anyway, also, this is interesting. During just before the cabinet meeting yesterday, Caroline Leavitt was doing a press conference, and they were talking about President Trump and the New York Times, and it's fairly self-explanatory. So I'll let the sound speak for itself.
The White House today launched a new fake news portal, which I found interesting. What is your objective with that, ultimately? And are you going to name the news networks? And are you also going to name some of the correspondents, some which may be here today?
Yes, we are. I'm glad you noticed. Much to the dismay of some of your colleagues in the room, John. And I think it goes to our original promise on day one to hold the media accountable, because unfortunately, and we deal with this all day, every day around here, there are so many fake stories that are unfortunately written that have inaccurate characterizations of meetings that took place, and it's all based on anonymous sourcing. And, the standard for journalism, unfortunately, has dropped to such a historic low in this country. And again, we deal with it every day, where you can have an anonymous source who has no idea what they're talking about, zero credibility, call up a reporter in Washington and say, hey, I heard this, and then the next thing you know, it's on the front page of the New York Times. It's really incomprehensible. We appreciate the journalists, some of those who are in this room who do reach out for comment, who try to get things right, and there are some that remain. But overwhelmingly, the fake news that we see pumped out of this building on a day-to-day basis, it's honestly overwhelming to keep up with it all, and to constantly have to defend against these fake news and these attacks. And I will point out one fake news story over the weekend before I let you all go, from the New York Times that took about 1/3 of the president's daily calendar and his daily schedule and said that he's doing less than he did in his first term, or he might not be fit for the job. That is unequivocally false, and it's deeply unfortunate that this story was written by the same outlet and the same reporter who wrote this. Biden is doing 100% fine after tripping while boarding Air Force One. Oh, same outlet, same reporter who wrote that President Trump is not fit for the job. Are you kidding me? You all see him almost every single day. He is the most accessible president in history. He is taking meetings around the clock. Another one. Biden declared, quote, healthy and vigorous after his first presidential physical. I don't see headlines like that too often about this president. Again, same reporter, same outlet who wrote falsely over the weekend that President Trump is not fit for the job. I can assure you he absolutely is. You all see that with your own eyes on a daily basis, and the president's physician has now given you all 3 detailed reports on the state of the president's health. So with that, I will leave you all, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Drop the mic and off she goes. Caroline Leavitt. No, I love when they take the press to task. And the guy sounded so. Yeah. You have a fake news page on your website, which I thought was very interesting. Like get off, pal. You guys, like she said, you do anonymous sources all the time. There was a time when I was a young cub person in the business when if he went to the news director and said, I have an anonymous source, he'd say, well, then go get somebody you can quote.
It's like that old song, Take It on the Run. Heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend you were messing around.
Yep.
And that's the news today. Yeah, we heard it from a reliable source that heard it from another source that heard it from an undisclosed source that Trump is this or that.
Right.
And that's
And they never, but if they do a retraction, it's like on page 20 the next day, next to the classifieds.
Yeah.
They are amazing.
It's pretty well hidden.
By the way, during the cabinet meeting, as it was closing, he was asked about Somalia. The president was, and what are you doing with all those Somalians? And is it you're sending them back? And well, here's what President Trump said about the Somalians. Listen,
we could go one way or the other, and we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. They came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
Bravo! That's his cabinet applauding him. That's but he's right.
I don't understand. Omar, who did she marry?
Her brother.
And why did she marry him?
Because I believe she wanted to get him into the country, right?
Well, either way, it is illegal. It is a crime.
You know what else I found out yesterday? Apparently, she lied about her age on her application form. I mean, this is one lady who, if you look not too deep, you'll find corruption.
Yeah. So why hasn't her whole term been delegitimized? It's illegal. But a Democrat judge would come, that was a simple oversight.
Well,
no, you've got to sit there. If you, Jim, did a simple oversight, intentional or accidental, they would hold your feet to the fire. I know they would hold my feet to the fire.
Absolutely.
If I did something like
Bill,
that.
For the first time, we've talked about it on our program here, but I heard mainstream media say yesterday that maybe it's the time that President Trump should ignore completely the activist judges out there who are trying to disrupt his presidency. And I think that truly, he's been following the law to the letter and abiding by their rulings, but they're all unlawful, and they all get overturned in the Supreme Court. What he should say is, look, it's going to stay in place until we go to the Supreme Court. Stop me from doing this. You guys who say I can't do it, stop me from doing it.
See, the thing that Trump's got the problem with, and he's got to keep some form of legality in place.
Well, he said, what I'm saying,
safety net.
Yeah, go to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, and that would do it. Say, look, I have a different view than you. We'll take it to the Supreme Court, but in the meantime, this goes on as planned.
Absolutely,
simple as that.
Yep, that's it.
And that's what you got to do. I mean, and as far as Omar is concerned, I don't look at her as a legitimate representative of any form of our government, and I would sit there and question whether she is a legal citizen.
Two of the big judges who are rogue, as I would say, James Boasberg and who was the other one? Deborah Boardman. They're two very activist lawfare judges. They have refused. They were subpoenaed. Come to the Congress and testify. They said, no, we're not going to do that. I find it amazing. They have no problem sidestepping the law. At every turn, they will bend rules so that they can rule in a certain fashion that is political. But yet when the opposition says, well, we want to talk to you about that, they say, no, we're not coming. No matter what, we're not going to go testify in front of you guys. No way.
Well, what they've done is they're networked. You know, you in business, you have a network of friends in certain places that can help you advance your objective. These attorneys, they have a network of friends. So they might sit there and say, yeah, I'm going to do this. I know it's not right, but I'm going to do it. You'll back me on this, right? Because I'll back you. And they do that all the way down the line.
Yep.
So they circumnavigate the courts and the law by, you know, they're a band. They're almost like legal soldiers that are fighting. You know,
if I charge that hill, you'll back me up, right?
You'll back me up, and the other attorneys in this soiree, they're our enemies.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
and so there's a legal civil war that plays out all the time. You're either on this side or you're on that side, but if you're not on our side, you know, we're going to do everything we can to disrupt your life.
A little bit of good news. You know, we lost Sarah. What was her name? Sarah Brickman, that poor National Guardsman in D.C.
The gentleman's responding.
He is. He gave a thumbs up, and he wiggled his toes, which means that's a good sign. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big deal. I thought he could hit with a 357. They both did. This guy wasn't shooting at 22.
But you don't know anything about his motor skills or being able to talk or, you know, limited thinking is probably there. It's coming back to him. I mean, you know, he wiggles, he smiles, he does the thumb up, you know, and but, you know, I don't know if he's tried to speak words or can speak words. I do know that, you know, if you go out for a while, you're in a coma, or you clinically die, and you're gone for a while, coming back, it takes a long time for that brain to go and rewire all those circuits for memory and stuff. And some of it you never get back, you know?
So what do you think we can expect in today's news, Bill? Anything interesting on the horizon that you see?
There's too many balls in play, so I don't know. I mean, I haven't turned on the morning news as of yet, and I'm expecting to see some fireworks. One good piece of news that I saw, you know, the Dell family, right?
Isn't that amazing? Do you know how much money he's worth, Bill? I didn't realize this. He's worth like $135 billion. I mean, the Dells. I mean, that's a lot of computers.
Well, and he took $6.25 billion, he and his wife, and put it into Trump accounts. Now, what that means is for 25 million kids, they're going to get $250,000 in an account for them, and it's to
how much did they get? $250 to $1,000? Is that what you said? $250 to $1,000, or
I think they're getting $250, and then it's $1,000. So there's probably more money, but there's 25 million kids,
right?
You know, that will have something that can help them to, you know, move on in life, get scholarships, whatever. Go to school, So this goes to them, and now this is just one person that donated, or one family, the Dells,
right?
$6.25 billion, $6.25 billion, they dropped into the account. All right, they have opened the door and they put money in. So let's say that you get 10 or 20 billionaires that do that, drop in big amounts of money. All of a sudden, you know, boy, wouldn't that take away a democratic narrative if all of a sudden all the kids in the country would have a scholarship that's full boat paid.
Wow.
You know, and the rich could do that.
You know what Trump's talking about doing, by the way?
What's that?
Eliminating income tax.
Yeah.
He's talking about removing income tax. Wouldn't you like that? No more April 15th? Oh, my gosh.
Costco. Now, this is me.
Right.
As far as Costco's concerned and anything related to it,
they
can go to hell, because they filed a lawsuit against Trump over the tariffs, because, you know, they say the goods they buy are coming from countries that we're putting high tariffs on. Buy them from the United States, stupid, or buy them from a country that is doing things with us where the trades are fair. But no,
you know what I wish? I wish Amazon would put on their ads for every item made in the USA, made in Taiwan, made in China. I mean, right
I wish
there.
they would. You know who should do that? Echo. Look, they don't echo the policies of old Sam Walton. Sam Walton said, "Made in America."
He did. He was proud of it.
Everything. That company was built on made in America.
Yes.
Now, I know firsthand, there were, when the sun took over,
the signs came down.
The signs came down. And Motorola, you couldn't buy a Motorola radio there. Like if you wanted to buy a two-way radio or a walkie-talkie, which you can buy there now, and you can buy them cheap. Motorola was the Cadillac, the Rolls-Royce of the radio industry. Now, I had a friend that did marketing. We were roommates for a while down in Florida because things were expensive. And, I said, hey, I got the place to myself.
Yeah.
And when I'm out of town, he's in town. When he's out of town, I'm in town. So it's like, great, because I don't want to see your face either. But either way, you could take an old Motorola phone or radio. Right. You could take it and slam it on the ground.
I remember.
It would break all the pieces, but you could pick up the bulk of that radio and turn the switch on, and it worked.
Yeah.
Now, he had to go to China because, Walmart said, we want him in the store. So he had to go there and negotiate the best manufacturing deal he could for Motorola so that they could be as durable as possible, but to make them in China so that Walmart could sell them cheap.
Well, I mean, look at right now. I'm talking into a Electro Voice microphone, what they call an RE20, made in the USA.
Yeah,
in 1987, but it's been refurbished. I just want to point that out. You have the exact same microphone to everything
all
inside.
The electronics.
Yep. Do you know what the difference is?
Mine was assembled in Japan, I believe.
Was it?
Or China?
China, I thought it was. Yeah.
China. Same innards, but yeah.
Yeah, the same mic, but they made it in a different country, and that they put a 3 in front of the 20, right?
Yeah, it's assembled there because they still hold to the fact that the casings and everything. So yours.
So what would they do? Would they send the parts over there? They'd assemble it and then send it back?
Yeah, because yours might cost $480.
Right.
All right.
Yep.
Mine will cost somewhere around $370 to $400.
And for that difference in profit, they make millions of dollars.
Yeah. So and that's just somebody sliding the components in and putting the screws on. And now that that's a whole different argument. Why such a big difference there? But at least they kept the electronics intact, which is why I went with it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it.
I got a new chair mat for my office, and they shipped it in and I got it from Amazon. And the first thing I saw on the box, made in China. If I had known that, I know this sounds I don't know, petty maybe, but if I had known that before I bought it, I probably wouldn't have bought it. The price was good. I think the price was good, and it was one of those, what were they calling it was a Black Friday sale.
Yeah. See, one of the things about Amazon, they were built on the fact that it's other people's money, and they're just a sales
middleman. Yeah,
they're the middleman. So they go, Jim, you want to get rich? We're going to give you a list of vendors where you can get gadgets to sell. And your thing is, you set up a store on Amazon, and you sell utility knife, pocket utility knife, like a Swiss knife. You can get them for 60 cents each out of China, and you can sell them for $13. Now we're going to take 30% of that, but either way, we got the distribution, the marketing, and everything. You just come in. Right. The only thing that you got to do, and I only know this because
fulfill
a good friend of mine, he became a millionaire doing that, and he He sells, what is it? Do you remember the shower radios?
Sure. You used to hang them over the shower head.
Yeah, he has something that's called a Woo something or other, Woo radio or whatever.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, the same idea, but he patented the name for a different name, and it's made in China. He sells them here. He gets them cheap and sells them. And then he also had the womb radio, which is where you could sit there and talk and hold the speaker over, the woman's pregnant and talk to the baby and sing to it in the whole 9 yards. And that made him a millionaire. And with, Amazon, because I remember I talked to him one day. He had started the thing in, I think, the fall of one year. And it was about 6 months later, he goes, I just made $1.8 million.
Wow.
And I'm like going, because in my mind,
Amazon does do they did that initially. They were the middleman totally, but now they do fulfillment now. Amazon does. They've gotten so big that they're taking up both ends of the deal,
they're grabbing all the money, but it's funny because I think they started out as booksellers.
They did,
and with his wife at the
time in his garage.
In his garage, and that's where
his first wife.
Necessity. Yeah, his first wife. Necessity is the mother of invention. So that is the story of Amazon. It's kind of a cool
she
story.
was the one who struggled and worked on the family budget and robbed Peter to pay Paul. And then,
but she helped him build a big company where he could trade off her and get a younger wife.
Model. Literally.
Yeah, but she's not his wife is not one of those money grubbing hungry people.
Oh no,
of
course.
She's not in it for the money. Don't get the wrong idea. I would never ever accuse anybody of that. So
hey, listen, friends, like and share the show. Thank you for listening. We've had an interesting program. Enjoyed doing it today. I enjoy doing it every day. I mean, really do. And we'll do it again tomorrow, just to prove that we really enjoyed today's. We'll be back again tomorrow. I'm done here. Oh, by the way, we got some nice response from the. If you haven't seen it, we posted our full sing of our jingle, of our song that we did, and it's there for you to listen to. It's we posted it yesterday. It's like a holiday gift from us to you. So I'm done.
Check it out. It should be there because we put it there yesterday. A lot of people have commented on it. And we'd like to hear from you, too. So until tomorrow.
Yes.
Hasta la vista, baby. We're out of here.
Who are we? And why are we here? Will we be welcome or possibly feared? Do we unite and stand tall as a nation of one? Or split and divide, or be mocked and shunned? Are our leaders patriotic, honest and true? Do they share our beliefs? Are they red, white, and blue? The truth is out there, you just have to search. Settle for less. right side with Right Side Coffee.
Available at rightsideshop.com. All music the property of Jim and Bill. All rights reserved. This is CRN America.